We all know that Kamala Harris and her campaign had no idea what they were doing the whole time. That's why they lost. And this very long time Democrat donor said something about Trump's campaign that I don't think I had ever considered. Here it is.
She thought that all these votes were for her. They were not. The votes that she got were people voting against Trump, and the votes that Trump got were the people voting for Trump. What the Harris campaign should have done, instead of avoiding Joe Rogan and podcasts, it turns out that Barron Trump, who looks like a runway model, was telling his father, you need to go on podcasts. You need to go on Joe Rogan. You know, he was 3 hours late to a rally because he was doing Joe Rogan because that was so important. So Barron Trump is a lot smarter than everybody in the Harris. They said they didn't go on Joe Rogan, the progressives around her. You heard what Carmel said. The progressives didn't want to go on Joe Rogan. Look, if I'm running, I'm going on Joe Rogan.
Barron Trump was smarter than Kamala Harris's whole campaign. People, by the way, who make millions of dollars a year and who are supposed political experts. And you know why Barron was so much smarter than all of them? It's kind of dumb. It's because he's just a normal dude. And these political experts are elitist, crazy people who actually have to go out and they spend their whole time just guessing what normal people want instead of just thinking to themselves, what do I want? Because they can't think that way because they're crazy. They're actually crazy. These people are insane. If you've ever met these, I'm not talking about a normal Democrat. I'm talking about elitists that would work in Joe Biden or Kamala Harris's campaigns. And for Barron Trump, he's just an 18-year-old dude. Sure, he's been involved in politics. But if you're 18 or I'm 23 and you look at what do you want to see out of politicians? Do I want to drive 2 hours to go to a political rally and hear Donald Trump speak? Maybe. Do I want to go on YouTube and watch him just chat it up with Joe Rogan for 3 hours? Yeah, I do. That's way better. I'm sorry. That's just how our generation works. I don't know if you disagree, that's fine. I'm not saying Donald Trump can't go out and do traditional rallies, but going on the podcast reaches way more people and it reaches the people that are never going to go to the rallies. And that was Barron Trump's, I guess you could call it genius. I would just call it common sense. Unfortunately, that's not what Democrat elites have. So there's that. And there's many people have commented this on these videos that I've done and other videos. They've said this. The Joe Rogan podcast, the problem was this was a total lose-lose for Kamala Harris because if she didn't go on Joe Rogan, she was missing out on tons of eyeballs. I mean, literally 50 million viewers between Joe Rogan and Donald Trump's podcast. But if she did do it, on the other side, millions of people would see how phony she was. And so the real mistake was not actually going on not going on Joe Rogan's podcast, because really she shouldn't have, because she would have looked awful. The real mistake was on the Democrats, and that was not holding a Democrat primary, because the moment that they chose to have a elite chosen nominee instead of a people chosen nominee, they lost the election. It was that simple. But they could have gone through the primary. They could have found a fairly normal person. I don't know if there's any person running as a Democrat who's going to be normal, but they could have appeared normal. They could have taken anyone who was likable, and they could have had them go on those podcasts, and it would have gone well. But they couldn't do that because instead they had Kamala Harris. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go down below, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and watch another video.